Hello once again, my fellow Star Trek fans, and I'd like to welcome you to another Star Trek related video. This video is going to be, well, let's see, it's going to be about Star Trek. And it's going to be about the U.S.S. Enterprise. Not this lovely lady here, but one of her distant cousins. We're going to be talking about the Enterprise D, Star Trek Picard. I'm not going to give spoilers away other than the fact that I'm going to say that the Enterprise D made an appearance, especially in the series finale. And we're going to talk about the Enterprise D, and what I want to show you is the Gold Enterprise. This is the XL edition, and this is from Eaglemoss. Eaglemoss is no longer an entity anymore. We're doing the Enterprise D build, formerly of Eaglemoss, but it's Fan Home that actually took that over, and I'm currently waiting to be notified when I can order the next shipment. So I'm really looking forward to that build. As for this one, before I go on, I just want to give a big shout out to my buddy Ian, the Scottish Trekkie, for letting me know that these things existed. He did the Enterprise NCC-1701 Gold Edition, and he did the NCC-1701-D Gold Edition from Eaglemoss. And in fact, I've shown you that one too. I've got the NCC-1701 XL Edition. So, without further ado, let's take this over to the desk where there's more room and there's more light, and I want to show you this absolutely beautiful version of the Enterprise D. There we go. We got a lot more light. You guys can see the box a lot better. We've got that beautiful photo of the Enterprise NCC-1701-D. This is the XL edition from Star Trek, the official Starships collection from Eaglemoss. Again, Eaglemoss is no longer an entity. You can see the Hero collection. The side of the box, you can see the official, and you got the same picture. Official Starships collection. Let's see, I think both sides of the box are the same. Yep. And I think both ends of the box are pretty much the same. Actually, nope, this one is a little bit different. So on the bottom, we've got the NX-01 Enterprise, then we've got the Klingon battle cruiser, and then it looks like we've got the U.S.S. Voyager, and we've got the NCC-1701-D. And moving over where the corner is, let's see, that looks like the Enterprise, is that the Enterprise E? I think that's the NCC-1701-E. I think that would be the Enterprise NCC-1701-B. And here's my personal favorite, the U.S.S. Enterprise NCC-1701, and I include the refit as my favorite. And then we have the NCC-1701-A, formerly the U.S.S. Yorktown. So why don't we go ahead and open it up. So it's actually magnetic. And looking inside the box, you've got the top, the Star Trek, the official Starships collection. And then you can see the also available, that looks like the Enterprise E. And we got the D. The model is part of the collection of the die-cast replicas of Star Trek ships. Each model is based on extensive research and, wherever possible, the original CG models used to create the effects for the TV shows and movies. So those two ships are beautiful. And let's see, going down, first thing we notice is we have the Starships collection. And this is for the Enterprise D. And these things can be so cool. Again, I had never seen these before, but Ian, thank you. My Scottish Trekkie friend, check out his channel. I'll put the link down if you want to check out some of his Star Trek stuff. He's probably the biggest Eaglemoss fan that I know. He does a ton of reviews, and it's just really cool if you want to check out his channel. So this is the display model of the U.S.S. Enterprise NCC-1701-D. It says location, conference room. I'm not sure why it says that. Enterprise D specifications. So, moving on, you can see that picture. It looks like they got the same picture that they're using on everything. But we'll see. And you can see the from Generations. Excuse me, not Generations. That's First Contact. I'm sorry. When Lily Stone forced Picard to confront his anger towards the Borg, he lashed out, smashing the display case and the model of his former ship. And that was funny because after he did that, she looked at him and she said, "You broke your little ships." Since the Enterprise NX-01 was launched, Starfleet's Enterprises had an area that features a display of the previous ships to bear the name. On the NX-01, it was a series of drawings in Captain Archer's ready room. On the refit Constitution-class U.S.S. Enterprise NCC-1701, there was a similar display in the recreation area. By the time the Galaxy-class U.S.S. Enterprise NCC-1701-D had entered service, there was a large display that showed profile views of earlier Enterprises on the wall in the conference room. When the new Sovereign-class U.S.S. Enterprise replaced the Enterprise D, the display was still in a conference room, but the profile views had been replaced by a series of gold models in a display cabinet. Which of one was the E's immediate predecessor? And we can see the lovely lady that is the Enterprise D. When Star Trek returned to TV screens, Gene Roddenberry wanted the new ship to be sleeker and more advanced. She definitely is the Galaxy-class starship. The Enterprise D, originally named the Enterprise 7, was designed by Andrew Probert in late 1986. And again, we see her in the Star Trek Picard, where, and I don't want to give a lot of it away, it's just, let's just say Mr. Data and his maneuverability with the ship, and we get to see her fire photon torpedoes as well as phasers. Star Trek was a wagon train to the stars, but in that show, the pioneers of the wagons had included women and children. The original Enterprise had been more like a battleship. You can see some of the designs. These sketches date back to 1985 and already feature elements that Probert would use in the final design, including elliptical shapes and the cells that sit low between the two hulls. And in the earlier designs of this, you can see where they went back to the C as well. That one kind of reminds me of the Enterprise C, the Ambassador class. And we have some more of the sketches. I love that. And look at the designs. While he was waiting to find out if he would be hired to work on Star Trek The Next Generation, Probert started refining the ideas for a new version of the Enterprise. By late November, he had settled on a direction that he liked. And here's some more illustrations on this side. The November 1986 drawings are remarkably close to the finished design, and were done without any input from the producers. All Probert knew at this stage was that the ship was larger and more advanced. Yeah, the Constitution class and the leap to the Galaxy class, there's a big difference in the ships. Although Probert had identified an approach he was happy with, Probert also considered some more radical departures from the series of the sketches shown very thin, organic shapes that are almost abstract. Yeah, I'm kind of glad they didn't go with that one. These shapes are, you know, the one on top, Actually looks like the Shenzhou, the U.S.S. Shenzhou. And we have some more of the sketches. The producers had told Probert that the ship would have a separate section that went into battle, leaving the family safely behind. He imagined that this would be an auxiliary battleship that was nestled at the top of the saucer. But as you guys know, they have the battle bridge is just on top of the saucer pylon. And the saucer separates from the secondary hull. Here's another illustration. Probert produced this marker pen illustration before he reported for work at Paramount Studios. So he pretty much had a good idea of what he wanted to do and what the ship was going to look like. Roddenberry told Probert to start work with the bridge, but he pinned the drawings of the Enterprise up above his desk to remind himself of the aesthetic he was going for. And we have some more of the illustrations. These sketches show how Probert was experimenting with the design of the battle section. He refined it, and he refined it to the point where it was a D shape and a warp nacelle forming extended serifs at the back of it. Excuse me. And again, that one's pretty cool, but it would make more sense for the whole thing to detach. At least in my opinion. And you can see more of the illustrations of the lovely resulting Enterprise D. Probert produced these drawings after the producers had approved the basic design. By this point, he knew they wanted a whole saucer section to separate. More illustrations. Working out how to separate the saucer was far from easy. Probert's solution was to leave part of the saucer behind in the neck to make an attractive shape. Yeah, and that worked out really nice. You could see where the battle bridge area would be. Probert suggested taking the idea of the ship separating even further. The semicircular sections of the edge of the saucer would have been massive lifeboats. But I don't think, obviously they didn't go in that direction. They just have the escape pods that are located throughout the hull of the ship. I love these illustrations. In February and March, Probert created these drawings to show key areas of the ship in more detail. Roddenberry only made two major changes to the design, lengthening nacelles and putting the bridge on top of the saucer. And you can see an illustration of a ship detached. The sketch shows the Enterprise in its separated mode. All the time, the expectation was that we would see this on a regular basis whenever the ship encountered danger, but this approach was abandoned, and the ship was only separated in extreme circumstances. Unfortunately, her destruction, we see the saucer separates from the star drive because of the warp core breach, but the primary hull would be recovered from the Render 3. And at the beginning of the series of Star Trek The Next Generation, when we were introduced to Commander Riker, when he actually boards the Enterprise for the first time, Captain Picard has him reunite the saucer section to the star drive, and he has him do it manually. Is that it? Yep, that's it. So we've got the Eaglemoss little information guide, and let's just take a look at this lovely lady. Look at that. I love it. I love it. I never get sick of looking at this. Let's see. We've got the base. And this is U.S.S. Enterprise NCC-1701 Special. This is number 0388-A. And this is a 2020 release. So let's get it out of the base, out of the bag, excuse me. You can see it's got that kind of dome-like base to put her on. And then we have this, you know, being from New England and a Patriots fan, looks like goalposts. That's always what it reminded me of. But this just goes right in, just like that. And that's it. Your base is finished. So let's take a look at the Enterprise. Let's get her out of her box. And look at that. Love it. Absolutely gorgeous. Primary hull. The underneath, you can see where the captain's cabin is, the captain's yacht, excuse me. And again, you can see where it would separate the battle section and the battle bridge. And you can see the deflector dish. And we got the nacelles, the nacelle pylons, and the part of the ship in the back, the aft end. And it was really cool because in Picard, I don't ever really remember seeing her fire the phasers from this section of the ship, and they were firing them. And again, I'm not going to go into any spoilers or anything. I'm just going to tell you the Enterprise D is in the series finale of Picard, and she does fire her weapons. And there were phaser blasts coming from there. And very well could have been in Star Trek The Next Generation. I just don't recall seeing it. I don't know, maybe yesterday's Enterprise, when they were firing all phasers and they were under a Klingon attack. I'm not sure. You can see all of the escape pods. And again, we're doing the what was formerly the Eaglemoss, build the Enterprise D. And each of the escape pods are going to go in individually. And yeah, it's a lot of work putting them all in. But the Enterprise D has so many escape pods. It seems like even more so than the E. Look at the top of the secondary hull. You can see the windows. You can see the rear torpedo launcher. Actually, let me turn it around for you. You've got the shuttle bays, 1, 2, and 3. Then you go down and you can see more phasers on top of the aft end of the ship. And you can see the aft version, well, the aft view of the nacelles, excuse me. And incidentally, they say metal. The primary hull is metal, but it's actually plastic for the secondary hull and the nacelles. So the secondary hull, along with the nacelles, are plastic, and the primary hull is the metal part. You see how she looks? That shot, just like from Picard in the Fleet Museum. And we see the Enterprise D. You see the edges of the ship. And she's just beautiful. And again, hopefully soon I'll hear something from Fan Home. The site is up. They're just not ready to ship them yet. So who knows what's going on with the parts coming from China. But I'll do another video and I'll give you guys an update on where my Enterprise D is at, and we'll take a look at some of the lights and how it's built. But for this one, I wanted to show you this pretty cool kit. Well, not a kit, this pretty cool model. And again, thanks to my friend Ian, because I didn't even know these existed. So this is really cool. And my friends, thank you so much for watching. And until my next video, I'll talk to you soon.